Hey, what is up everybody? Back again with another segment of the Captain's Chair. Today I wanted to talk about all the things that I need in the new Star Trek upcoming series, Strange New Worlds. Let's get right into it. So like I said before, these aren't even the things that I want. You know, these aren't the things that I'm hoping for. These are the things that I need from Star Trek Strange New Worlds. For the past 2 years, the Star Trek fandom has been basically begging Alex Kurtzman and the crew to have Anson Mount reprise his role as Captain Christopher Pike like he did in Star Trek Discovery Season 2. It was an absolutely great performance. Captain Pike is pretty much up there at this point as one of the top 5 coolest Star Trek captains. The look, the character design, the new looking Enterprise, Ethan Peck's Spock, it's totally going to be the crowning jewel of Kurtzman Trek for sure. This is just a little video of me talking about what I absolutely baseline require from this new show, because this is pretty much, I don't know, ever since I heard the announcement for this show, when the cast members actually came out during quarantine doing a little bit of an announcement video.
Strange New
Worlds.
You asked, we listened. It's happening.
Just as soon as I knew that we were going to be getting an actual Star Trek show about Anson Mount's Christopher Pike aboard the Enterprise, I haven't been more excited for anything. Since then, I hope that we're going to get it within the next year to year and a half. I just want it desperately. I need it so badly. And if you remember in that little announcement thing that they did, one of the things that I really took note of was Anson Mount towards the end. I believe he said that Strange New Worlds is going to be coming and that it is going to be a Star Trek show that's more in roots with what Star Trek has previously been in previous iterations.
And we're going to get to work on a classic Star Trek show that deals with optimism and the future.
So you already have an element from a new series that everybody pretty much adores. Everybody loves Captain Pike. A lot of people have a lot of criticism and a lot of things to say about Discovery. Regardless of that, it seems like we're all in consensus that Captain Pike, played by Anson Mount, was a brilliant character, one that I personally resonate with a lot and one that I look up to, honestly. And he's coming back in this Star Trek show from an era of Star Trek that we're extremely familiar with. Basically the OG Star Trek from when it all started, and they're telling us it's going to be more episodic. And we haven't really had a truly episodic Star Trek show since Enterprise in the early 2000s. So if they actually are going to give us some of that old classic 90s Star Trek medium where it was more episodic, all the episodes of the show could pretty much stand independently of each other on their own. Every episode is like its own story. Since they've made the claim that they're going to do it for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, that is pretty much what I expect. When they say that they're going to create something episodic, I expect it to at least compare and seem like the episodic style of Trek that we're more used to with 90s Trek. If they do that, you're already fucking halfway there on making this an absolutely brilliant and good show. Second thing that's really important to me, I really need this to happen. In my heart, I need this to happen now that it's kind of a possibility. I just need it. I need it. I need it. If this is going to be the show that I fantasize in my head that I really truly want and I'm going to enjoy and just absolutely stand for years after its release, then they need to fucking make Jeffrey Combs come in and play Dr. Boyce. If you have seen the Menagerie or if you have seen the pilot episode of Star Trek, there was a doctor aboard the Enterprise at the time, and he actually has a pretty nicely long conversation with Pike in his quarters, and Pike talks about how he really doesn't know if he wants to be captain anymore. He's really a little bit tired of the responsibility that comes with being in the captain's chair. And then Boyce sits down with him and makes him a cocktail and explains to him if you're not gonna do it, then who the fuck else is? Who else can fit the shoes? We need these people. Just like they said in that one Star Trek episode from the TOS, the Doomsday Machine, when Commodore Decker was about to just go straight into the mouth of the ginormous Doomsday Machine, Kirk was telling him that he was a valuable asset and that his ability to command a starship was a valuable commodity and asset that really needed to be kept alive. Jeffrey Combs has been in multiple Trek shows shows. He's played some amazing, iconic, awesome roles. Wei-Yoon, he also played Shran from Enterprise, and Shran was easily the top 3 best things about Enterprise. He is just a beloved veteran Star Trek actor who everybody loves. When they announced Strange New Worlds and people were like speculating as to what this could be like, because you know, with Kurtzman Trek, you really have no fucking clue what you're going to get. You really don't know what you're gonna get from Strange New Worlds, but the one thing that fans were doing, kind of putting together the pieces, like, are we going to have a doctor over the Enterprise? Like, we kind of need one, right? And we kind of need it to probably be Dr. Boyce, because he was a prominent character that showed up in the Cage and the Menagerie. And people were starting to put together how Jeffrey Combs looked really conveniently much like Dr. Boyce's original actor. And at that point, it's just kind of set in stone. Like, dude, we gotta have Jeffrey Combs playing Dr. Boyce. This is really the first time fans have felt that Alex Kurtzman and his production team and Michelle Paradise, whoever the else fuck is working on this is the first time that they felt like Alex Kurtzman and them were actually listening to the fans and kind of giving us exactly what we wanted. You could say this is probably in response to the overwhelming amount of criticism that they've got for Discovery. I feel like more than half of the criticisms made against Discovery are kind of bullshit. I like Discovery, but this was like the first time where the fans actually truly felt like, here, we're all blatantly kind of asking for something, and then they came back and were like, oh yeah, we're giving you this something. So that gets me thinking that if enough people kind of cause a stir and ask Jeffrey Combs to actually play another Star Trek role, that it would just make perfect fucking sense for him to play Dr. Boyce, because Dr. Boyce is really the only remaining important cast member from the Menagerie in the Cage who we would seemingly expect like a decent replacement for. Since we already have cast members for Pike, Spock, and Number One, I mean, really the only one left is Dr. Boyce, and it's just gotta be Jeffrey Combs, like, please. Trek Movie even did kind of like an interview with him where they were asking, like, if they come to you and they approach you about this role, would you be willing to do it? And he was like, oh yeah, I would totally do it. I love the fans. Another opportunity to come back into Star Trek would be awesome. And if I need to go up for prolonged filming into Canada or Toronto or wherever they're going to film this, I would be perfectly willing and comfortable. So that just gets me fanboying hella fucking super hard. And I just really want Jeffrey Combs to be our doctor, because I really love Star Trek doctors. I've said it on many occasions, is that Star Trek, when I was originally watching through it, the doctors behind the main captains were easily my second favorite characters, and I just feel like Jeffrey Combs could bring so much to the table in a new episodic Trek series about Anson Mount Pike, Number One, and Spock aboard this new Enterprise, and making it episodic, like really truly episodic. And then on top of that, having Jeffrey Combs fucking play Dr. Boyce, that's a banger. Fucking banger right there. On paper, that is a banger. Third thing I really need for them to do, the closest little bit of promotion, the closest concrete thing that we've got from Strange New Worlds in the past, I'd say month or so, is the fact that they had Anson Mount and Ethan Peck's Spock in the recent Paramount Plus commercials. Now, if you don't know, CBS All Access, which is the streaming service where all the new Trek originally like comes out at first, is being rebranded to Paramount Plus. And I saw a comment on like the Paramount Plus video, and somebody left a comment thinking like, dude, since they're like scaling the peak of the Paramount Mountain, it would have been a lot cooler if they named the new streaming service like Paramount Peak instead of Paramount Plus, because they're kind of just, you know, ripping off Disney Plus at that point. CBS All Access to Paramount Plus, I mean, it's a little bit of an improvement, but not one big enough that I'd actually like care about. In that commercial, which is our actual like first official look of Anson Mount in his Pike costume, and as well as Ethan Peck in his Spock costume that we've seen for fucking ages, but they were wearing the Discovery 2 designed jackets, like the ones that kind of look like biker jackets. As much as I fucking love this design and I absolutely like straight up suck it off, like it's a great design, one of my favorites in Star Trek, it's got me questioning whether they're going to continue to use this design of uniform for basically the remainder of the series. I almost kind of want them to get new uniforms. I want something to change a little bit. If anything, a slight drastic aesthetic change of the show would be a slightly welcoming, something that would make it tie in a little bit more to the TOS era and make us feel as fans that this is the same Christopher Pike from the TOS era. Now, I know that's going to be a little bit difficult because those fucking episodes of Star Trek were made in the 60s, but I feel like they just need to make make a little bit of a nuanced change to either the design of the Enterprise, the design of the uniforms, the design of the set. I don't want it to be exactly like it was in Discovery. I would like there to be something a little bit new, a little bit refreshing, whether it be like the Enterprise is slightly changed. They make it look a little bit more TOS convincing. And also, as much as I love these uniforms, and maybe I would like to see them for like season 1 of Strange New Worlds, I do think that they do need to have a uniform change that's something a little bit more simpler, and it's something that's a little bit more TOS reminiscent. And then lastly, to wrap up this video, I would just kind of like to say that they have a tremendous amount of responsibility, especially in this series, to adhere to like previous canon. You're ripping characters straight out of the TOS era, which they've already successfully done, I will tell you. In Discovery Season 2, they had those clips from the menagerie in the cage, and it was very well done. But now that we're seeing just full screen time of Captain Pike, Spock, Number One, the Enterprise from the TOS era, like, this is truly treading on Kirk era TOS shit. Kurtzman and the crew have a huge amount of responsibility of just adhering to canon. Small little slips there in every fucking series of Star Trek literally ever, so it doesn't really matter. But if they have some huge, crazy mistakes, that's something that could easily make this series sour in the eyes of a lot of Star Trek viewers, and that's just something that we don't want to deal with, and that's something that we just don't want to see. So just do your best to adhere to canon. It's actually not that hard to adhere to canon when you're writing a story. There is a fucking wiki for us fans to use. Like, it's fandom. There's wikis for literally every expansive universe now. If you're going to implement a character, an alien, or a race into the show, literally just look them up on fandom. It will tell you everything about them, so we don't have any slip-ups. Adhere to canon better than you have in previous series. Make it episodic like you're kind of claiming that it's going to be. Give us some really cool design switch up, something that will make the show seem a little bit fresh and interesting, and make a huge effort to tie in this series with TOS. And then also, lastly, you need to fucking bring Jeffrey Combs on to play Dr. Boyce, or I will never forgive you. I swear to God, I will never forgive you. Please do it, dude. Combs gotta be just chilling at home, dying to play this role, dude, and I'm dying to have him play the role. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of The Captain's Chair. I got a lot more things I want to talk about, Star Trek content coming, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed the video, please slap a like on it. Are you looking forward to Strange New Worlds as much as I am? I am looking forward to Strange New Worlds basically more than anything in my fucking life right now. This show is just on pen and paper everything I want from a Star Trek series, so hopefully they can deliver. Leave down in the comments below, what would you like to see from Strange New Worlds? What are you expecting? What are you excited about? Leave it down in the comments below. I'll be sure to get back to you. And with all that being said, guys, live long and prosper. I'm gonna have to see you in the next one.